Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft Season 6. It is your trident wielding friend, Mr. xisumavoid, as Mr. Giarian would say, jeez. And down here you can see we're at the location of our ice farms, plural, that's right, and there is an entirely new ice farm over here that we devised and built in a live stream. So if you saw our ice farm episode, we built this thing over here. It was a very interesting concept of using a flying machine to fly across and push all of the ice downwards. Now our initial prototype right here was okay, but now I've built a much better one that produces a monstrous amount of ice, as you can see down below. Let's land on the roof here and let's talk about this. We've got a flying machine that has 8 pistons across, and you'll notice that this one here and that one there doesn't have an observer on top of it, and that's because it gets bud powered, right? So it gets an update from the piston alongside it. So with that in mind, what we've created is a tray here that's 8 across, and it's got some blocks in the middle that are immovable, which means the pistons don't push them down, so the furnaces don't get moved. And around those blocks and the ones on the side, ice is able to form. So there is far more spaces for ice to form in this layout. You'll also notice that there is a bunch of slabs as well, and let's pay attention to the pistons as they fly over. Notice how they don't push the slabs downwards. See, it didn't push? Well, that's because they've got immovable blocks underneath as well. Man, these flying machines are loud. Got a little bit of redstone over here to send it back once it reaches the end. And anyway, with these immovable slabs that we have here, the water is allowed to generate all the way across from one side to the other, over and over again. So when the flying machine pushes the ice down, the water always regenerates. It is a wonderful, fantastic farm, and it is not finished just yet. I'm not going to be expanding it today, but an expansion is required. I think for the amount of ice you get each time the flying machine goes across, we'll probably be wise to add about an extra 50 to 100% in that direction. What I would like to do though is start harvesting some of this ice from down below. And as you can see, the ground is in the way in some places, and also height is going to be a problem here as well. So I've gone and put down leaves at the bottom here because mobs won't spawn on them, and we're going to build up some walls on the side so you can go inside and mine out all of this stuff. Those walls though are going to go to a particular height because you can only mine so far upwards from down here, right? And then you can't reach any further. So we're going to need like a walkway on the side where you can go across and get the higher ice if you're in need of more ice. Now this thing's been running and it's not been very long. It's so good, it's been creating lots and lots of ice that now some of it is backed up to the top here, which reveals a little bit of a flaw. Once the ice starts to fill up in certain places, it means that the water doesn't get to regenerate, and therefore it's not going to continue to generate the ice in these places. That is a little bit unfortunate, but if we just take account of how much ice has actually been generated in total, it is really not a problem in the long run. Well, this is now looking rather big and ugly and plain, right? Well, it's not an aesthetic build like the sheep farm we did last episode. This is all for practical purposes, which is why it is not on the hermit area. And so I built up these walls around the outside. You may notice there's something funky going on here with the leaves and the torches. If the torches were to be 1 block higher, they would start to melt the ice on the inside. So this is to let light on the inside because we have leaves for the floor, which will stop mobs spawning in here because it needs to be dark where the ice is. So yeah, that's done for now. This will get expanded again in the future and there'll probably be some more tweaks and changes, but right now I'm going to grab my pick, get in here and start mining all of this ice. That is a crazy ice farm. I pretty much burned through most of my pick. So when we expand this, I must remember to bring multiple picks over here. And I've just been squeezing the ice into whatever chests will hold on to them because we've produced so much of this stuff. And I've got an inventory full here. So it's very, very productive, but it is a little bit tricky because the ice keeps getting pushed down while you're trying to collect it. And when that's happening as well, you come up to this middle bit and there's still ice to walk on because it's kind of tedious to mine every block from below. But what I did realise is when you're harvesting here, you can't aim upwards too much because if I aim any higher than that and hit this level of ice, then the water is going to drip down from above because that is actually the bottom of the farm. So that is a slight flaw in a way, but it's really not a hassle at all, I guess is what I'm saying. What we're also going to need up here is a way to stop this farm when you're harvesting it. I think that would be much more convenient. And I can think of a pretty straightforward way to stop this thing. If we power that repeater, we're going to lock the one in front of it. So that stops the signal coming around and activating the machine again. Problem is when you hit this, it's not going to start it up again. So I was thinking if there is a torch here, maybe actually what we need is an observer block somewhere around here. By the way, while I've been in this area, I keep jumping down into this river and attacking the squid so I can get some ink sacs. And it's got me thinking, this might be a good location to build a squid farm. There's rivers nearby. And what I need to do for the ice farm is AFK in the area. Although we're producing ones where you can get ice pretty quickly, right? I do have some ideas to build a unique squid farm, which is different from some of the other ones you might have seen. So maybe this will be the spot to do that. We can AFK in this area, and if we condition it right, we can get squid spawning in this river. And that, my friends, is not a project we're going to be doing in today's episode. And if I have been hinting at a project, it's because I planned on doing something entirely different. We need to collect lots of ice and lots of grey wool for our next build. However, it just kind of occurred to me that today is not the episode to do that because it is now October and we are going to do a spooky build together as a community, which is something we've done in the past, but this time we are far more prepared. We have organised in advance, and I need to start off by building a tunnel and a nether portal over to this spooky area. I'm also going to be setting up my own game for the month of October, so while I'm working on that nether tunnel, I actually have some footage to show you of me working over at the wool farm and putting the finishing touches on it. So I have had some problems over here at the sheep farm. I put in a lot of shears and they went missing. The reason being that there used to be a hopper right here and the hopper hitbox has changed. So the shears could get dispensed over to the side and they would just despawn because they were sitting there doing nothing. Strangely enough, the hopper below wouldn't pick it up for some reason. Anyway, I messed around with pushing blocks about here so that I could get a hopper minecart inside of that block, but unfortunately it would then pick up everything this dropper here spits out, which is our shears, and which allows us to sit here and AFK for, a certain amount of time. There's also another problem. Due to the way that this clock here works, I can't exactly feed this thing full of lots and lots of shears over a long amount of time. What it'll do is spit them all out at once and potentially they can despawn. So what I'm going to do is rip all of this out and we're going to do some testing in a test world and see if we can come up with a better design. So very swiftly have I found my way to a conclusion, and that's because the first part was actually based on something that I did years ago, I believe for a very similar function. So down the bottom here we have a dispenser pointing upwards into a hopper. Now because it's a dispenser, it's going to physically shoot the item out, and you can see here it appears for a moment before going into the hopper, so that will stop any items that end up here from despawning, but also allow us to pick up the items as well. On the side here we've got a clock, a very simple one with a redstone torch. It's powering the dispenser. It's also locking the hopper above when it does that, which is perfect for what we need. Then on the opposite side we simply have a comparator detecting how many items are inside of this dispenser, and then over here we've got a stock up system. So when shears that are in the player's hand break and they pick up another one, it's like me taking one out of here, and you can see that now there's another pair of shears in there, and that's because when there's nothing in this comparator it will unlock this hopper, which feeds in another shear, and then from here we can stack up the amount of storage and have as many shears ready to go into this system as we like. So that will work just fine. I can't see anything wrong with this design. Let's go put it on the server. Well, as you can now see, it's been built here on the server, ready to go. Pretty much exactly the same as it was on the test world, so everything should be fine. And I've got a full chest of these right here. Cost me a fair bit of iron, but it's going to be worth it for all the wool that we get from this. So I have nothing but good news. This farm is officially finished, bar needing a little bit of cleanup over there. This new system working absolutely fine. We've gone through loads of shears without losing any, and we've sheared tons and tons of sheep, as you can see. So much so that I've filled up all of these shulker boxes, which I'm going to be taking back with me. And that's probably the last you're going to see of this place, because of course we're not going to do it up with any aesthetics or anything like that. And it's pretty much a finished project now. So that's the sheep farm taken care of, but now the server is having some issues, and I've located the problem. It keeps crashing, and here in the end, for some reason, there is just an ender dragon down here. No one has spawned one, and this ender dragon is glitching out and crashing the server. And there it goes again, it's crashed. Jeez, now I've got to fix this problem. So all is good now. I was able to fix the problem. It turns out that the game does some sort of legacy check, as it calls it, to look for an old school ender dragon, because the ender dragon fight has changed over time, and in doing so it actually created an ender dragon down here at the bottom that was glitched out and would cause the world to crash if someone loaded the end. So I managed to run a kill command here in the end dimension to remove it, and it looks like the problem has been fixed for now. But anyway, before we get back into the regular episode, I have something else to show you as well. On the screen you'll probably see an image, or I'll do something. There is a Hermitcraft community panel from MINECON Earth that just happened a couple of days ago. It's half an hour long. There is Mumbo, Stress Monster, Cubfan, Rendog and Iskal. They did a fantastic panel together about the Hermitcraft community and running your own communities. If you like the sound of that, highly recommend you check it out. There'll be a link down below. So here in the Nether Dimension we have my portal, we have Mumbo's portal over here, and this path leads off to the temporary Nether hub. We now have an additional path along the side here, and if I just drop down below, spread my wings and use a rocket, you can see exactly where this path goes. Now because we all play with elytras and rockets in this day and age, I went right through it, didn't I? It feels like building an actual proper tunnel is a little bit of a waste of time, as it's just faster to play like this. Ah! I should really use the sword on this guy. The axe is not as good. Yes, distractions. Ghast, go away. Yeah, it's much easier to just fly, right? So I'm not going to decorate this tunnel. It's just going to be like this to show the way. It's a nice big open area to fly through. And then we've got a nether portal taking us to the location. And of course, you know what biome it's going to be. It is the swamp biome, where witches like to live. And as I look around here, I'm noticing that someone has come and ravaged the area of its natural resources. There is no clay here. If we go a little bit higher, we can actually see the biome border just over there. We are roughly in the very center of this area. In fact, the higher up I go, I'm probably going to get a better view. Yes, you can kind of see the border on all sides. So this area takes up the field of view. That's pretty cool. But this is the place where all the builds are going to go. And what I'm going to start off by doing is chopping down a couple of trees and just making this portal look more interesting. So my ideas have led me in a spooky direction. You probably know what it is. Yes, a giant skull. I thought this would make a pretty cool mask for a nether portal. And initially I went onto image search and started looking up Minecraft skulls, and I didn't really like the idea of just copying someone else. So I looked at a few different images, drawed some good ideas from it, and tried to make it into my own skull. And I gotta say, it kind of works from down here, but once you start to get higher and you look at it, it loses its charm a little bit. But I can always make some modifications based on feedback, so if you've got any ideas here, let me know. But the size of this has actually been built in a way where I'm going to mirror it so that it is a double skull. So rather having this thing open in just one direction, it's actually going to open in two directions, as I'm about to mirror what we've built here over the back. So this strip of blocks here represents the side of the skull, and this will be the shared bit right here. So if we look at these coal blocks that create the blackness in the mouth, they are one out from where the portal can go. And I think what I might do is actually just put the portal down below and have a staircase that comes up, so that there is like an opening, and then we don't remove all of these blocks. Like I want to find a way to do it where we can keep the darkness here. And I think I may have just found that way. Rather than messing around with this wall, decided to put the portal down there and use the front as a staircase. And that is exactly how we're going to do it. So my friends, we are not done in that area just yet. There is a game that I want to go over there and set up. And over here we have a boat that seems to be made out of grass blocks. I do not understand what is going on here, but this I understand as a work of beauty. Mr. Good Times of Scar has built one of the most incredible shops you'll ever see. It is his landscaping shop, and I decided I want to be first in line to hire Scar this season, and I believe the place, the entrance, is this path right here, leading down through some absolutely gorgeous custom terrain here. I don't know how he does it. There's so much detail, but the detail isn't overwhelming. It's immersive. That's the word that I'm looking for. Anyway, we have armor stands, we have armor stand books this season, and I thought that I would set up a little queue and put myself first in line. And there we go. I'm officially first in line. You can see here it says customer queue. I wish I could put text on that sign. I don't know what it would say though. I couldn't really think of any sort of particular pose that made much sense, but I had to rename the armor stand, and now it says that I'm first in line. So back to the spooky area. I have something that I need to build over here because I hinted at it earlier in the video that there is going to be a game that I am conducting for the month of October. Now before we get into the details of that, I look slightly different because I have a new skin. Check this out. For the month of October we're going to be wearing this spooky Halloween skin. And I think this season is becoming the season of skin changing. So I think I might even just wear something different from November and something Christmassy for December. Anyway, I'm having fun looking at this thing, man. It's so cool to get a new skin. And a huge thanks to No Effort on Twitter. If you want to see the picture they submitted of this skin to me, there'll be a link to their tweet in the description box down below. So the other day I just tweeted it out. I thought, do you know what, I want to get a spooky Halloween skin together, and I asked if anyone wanted to make me one. I had a few submissions, so thank you to all of you who put in the time and effort to create one. No Effort was my favourite by far. I've got to say I liked all the submissions, but when I saw No Effort, so I was like, yep, that is the one right there, and I'm sure I'm going to scare a couple of the hermits when I run into them. You can see on the tab screen I already look pretty spooky. But anyway, the location of a building we're going to create for this game will be right here, and I put it deliberately opposite the portal so that when you come through, depending on what way you come out, you'll see it straight away. So my friends, the game that we're creating for the month of October is going to be known as Phantom Hunting Season, where I will create a bounty for the player that can hunt down and kill the most phantoms for the duration of this month, which will end at midnight on the 31st. And yes, I have constructed and built a giant phantom. Man, look at this thing. Isn't it cool? I gotta say, my back is the least favourite part. I feel that's where the blue really stands out. Actually, from a distance it looks okay. It's when you get close to it that its blocky look kind of takes form, right? But from a distance, that looks absolutely amazing. And that is going to be above a platform where the rules and the bounty are going to be placed. So, we're going to build this platform, obviously, and we're going to do a little bit of commandy stuff as well, as the amount of phantoms the players have killed are going to appear in the tab screen. That's now been taken care of, and everyone is on 0 because night hasn't even rolled around yet, so no phantoms would have spawned. And I'm going to put the 2 commands that I used on your screen if you want to use them yourself, but I won't run into how exactly they all work because I've done that time and time again. It's very simple stuff. And this thing right here kind of looks like a miniature blue phantom, right? It says, for the month of October, Phantom Hunting Season is declared. The hermit who kills the most phantoms, there should be an S on the end of that, wins the contents of this chest. As time passes by, the chest will fill with goodies. And I don't think there needs to be much more explained than that. When I announce it in our Discord chat, I'll go into a little bit more detail. Because, you know, if the player builds a farm or something like that to kill the phantoms, that's perfectly fine. We want to see some interesting happenings going on here on the server. Also, I was going to put a stack of diamonds into this chest, but it turns out I now have less than a stack of diamonds to my name, which kind of sucks. So I thought we would start off with a Nether Star, and then I'll probably do a mining session during a live stream, and we'll get some diamonds to go in here as well. But if you've got any ideas for things that could go in this chest, let me know with a comment down below. Hashtag phantom loot, let's say that. I'm thinking we'll probably hunt down some rare heads and chuck them in here. And so over the duration of the next month, we will be finding cool things to put in here to encourage the hermits to participate in this phantom hunting game. Whoa, it is starting to look really spooky around here at night. The glow from the base looks fantastic. But as you might suspect, we are coming to the end of this episode. So if you have enjoyed it, then leave a like. As always, thank you for your support on these videos. The likes do make a bit of a difference. And yeah, this is where we're wrapping this one up. I've got things to do on here. I need to edit and render this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.